All right, yo, what up, everybody? Welcome in Big Bets, Fantasy Exec, Johnny VTV, the handicappers, you know what I'm saying? Here to get you ready for week 5 of the NFL season. You got a specific game you go to, there's chapters in here, so hit those up, you know what I'm saying? Johnny V's in the Circa Millions contest. He's got a couple of selections, so you know everything he's telling you is coming from his heart, you know what I mean? His true picks, he's putting money behind it and then going to the window. If I tell you I'm going to the window where the plays means there's going to be a wager on it, we're in the same boat as you. We don't plan on losing. JVTV, what's shaking?
What's up, kid? How we doing? How about it's a good little time for Johnny V to run a victory lap around you for the shit you were talking about Justin Fields last night. Was defending him like he was my own son. And what happens? He goes out, throws for 3-4 tutties, 3 bills, a 40 bean in Washington, en route to a big dub. I'll be taking that apology right now.
I'm going to hold my apology for when the Chicago Bears are not the worst team in the NFL this year. So if they are not the first pick of the draft, if they are not one of the top 3 picks of the draft, I'll say I was wrong about Justin Fields. Because you got to win football games. I don't care about them statistics.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's got more touchdowns than Dak, Jalen Hurts, and Joe Burrow combined.
And guess what?
8 touchdowns in the last 2
He's
weeks.
also played a 5th game already.
Yeah, I realized that.
Yeah, so
Dak,
Justin Jalen Hurts has not played a 5th game yet.
He's got 8 tutties in the last 2 weeks. What
he has
talking about?
1 win.
That's not
in his last 14 games. He's the quarterback. He has 1 win in his last 14 games.
Okay, so
and you're telling me about the tutties
game.
Fuck about
Fields looked good last night. That's what I'll say. DJ Moore was on a different planet, bro. Let's give credit where it's due. Just give credit where it's due.
I'm giving him credit.
Looked really good. He looked
was
really
solid
good
last night.
Just solid. Solid to me is like a 6 out of 10. Like
I forgot,
really good is like an 8.
I forgot. I got the genuflect at the altar of Justin Fields because everybody thinks this kid is so good. Who has a 1-13 record in his last 14 games?
We're not even talking.
So I gotta kiss his ass.
You know, you just got to give credit where it's due. Solid is like drink the haterade, bro. Drink the haterade. You want me to go get it for you? You drink the haterade after you drink that chalk latte that you love.
Chalk latte. Let's see your chalk latte right now. Let's get into this week's first game. Let's go out there. International series. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills laying 5.5. Now, this is not a Royal Mint spot because this is a international series game. This is a neutral site. Isn't the Royal Mint the road underdog, not the underdog?
It is, but like, bro, it's the road team, dude. Like, it's the road team, and this is a gray area. I'm glad you brought this up because this is something that rarely comes up. This is fair. I'm still going to treat it as a Royal Mint spot because what do we know about Buffalo? Their fans travel. So this is not only a home game for the Bills on the schedule, but this is like a de facto home game because of the way Bills Mafia ends up traveling. They roll deep. I expect that to be the case on Sunday morning. Therefore, I think a Royal Mint is still fair game here, Corey. 5.5?
No way in hell. Buffalo Bills too hot right now, Johnny.
You're gonna fade the Royal Mint, kid?
I'm fading the Royal Mint. I'm not taking no. I really don't go international series to the window anyway. But I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Are you playing Jacksonville in the Circa contest?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw an entry on them.
Okay, I respect it.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I don't like the spot. Like, I think Buffalo wins. I think they could win by double digits, but you know me. I play the number. I stick to it. It's like in roulette. You play one color. When you're playing colors, you play one, and that's the system. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And listen, Jacksonville hasn't looked good, but like, bro, what we know about the NFL, it doesn't make any sense. Like, did we expect Chicago, for instance,
you're 100%
to go into Washington and drop 40 points? No, we didn't. Like, it doesn't make sense. That's how it works. It's inexplainable. That is the entire preface of this league, where things happen that you just don't expect and you don't think it's even possible.
All right. So Jacksonville 5.5, Royal Mint spot blind
Yeah.
bet. All right, bet.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. I'm down with that. I'm cool with that. You got your system. You stick to it. We discussed this one on the Thursday night show briefly last night. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. Now, the Atlanta Falcons are 1.5 home favorites versus the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are really public darlings right now, a la the Detroit Lions. Looking at some VSiN splits, you got 70% of the money backing the Houston Texans. Johnny V, I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons to the window. Mentioned it last night as a home favorite. Arthur Smith, 8-1 on the money line.
70% of the money or the tickets?
I will tell you right now, and I'm glad you mentioned that because that is critical. Even if it's the handle, I don't mind it. You would expect the handle to be sharper. 75% of the tickets.
And how much handle?
25% of the handle.
I mean, listen, it doesn't.
It's actually reversed.
You know, you ideally would like to be on the side of the sharps and the books, but like it doesn't always matter. The public has actually done really well thus far. I saw a tweet about it. I apologize. I don't remember who it was, but I think the public through the first 4 weeks is hitting at like maybe 55, 57%, doing pretty well. I mean, that's a little bit of profit, so
but
it doesn't always matter.
Houston is the public side.
Yeah, no, I agree. So what I'm saying is sharp and public doesn't always matter. You'd like to be on the sharper side if you could. You feel a little better about
if I'm not mistaken, we're on the sharp side, right?
I would think so. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. The trendy dogs are usually teams that, end up losing and not covering. And it's not always the case, but like perfect example was last week where everybody thought New England, the public darling, they were taking sharp money as well. Like public sharp, it doesn't matter what it was. So I think realistically what we're looking at here, Corey, is an Atlanta Falcons team that we don't expect to win. I like Houston, but because of this public trendy dog thing, I'm going to go with the Falcons in a rebound spot at home. Desmond Ridder, I don't think has lost a home game since his days in college, like 30-0, something like that. Arthur Smith, you just mentioned it, at home against the spread. And Atlanta has matchup advantage in this game. Their defense is playing very well, building something special. Jesse Bates was a huge acquisition, and I think the secondary, mainly A.J. Terrell, can sort of put a stop on Nico Collins and the rest of this receiving room and really make life difficult on a C.J. Stroud quarterback who has just played out of his mind. And I expect this to be a game that is nails. It comes down to the gun, and Atlanta wins by a field goal. Young Ho Koo drills one from 45 out to give Atlanta the W.
All right, there you go right there. You heard it right from Johnny V's mouth. I'm not going to predict it goes down like that, but I do think it's a field goal game. Like I said, most times your overtime prop comes in at around plus 850, plus 950. I would sprinkle that. This should be a pretty good game down in the Dome between two teams who are really rivals. Nobody really talks about it, but you do have rival cities going at it down there this weekend in Atlanta. Carolina Panthers, Detroit Lions. This one is coming a little bit. Last night when we talked, it was 10 across the board. Now you're starting to see some 9.5s. Even got a 9 at Circa. So right now we are looking at the Carolina Panthers, a 9-point favorite on the road versus the Detroit Lions. So, Johnny, my thing is this. Carolina went in there and Carolina beat them in Carolina last year. Your man, what's your man name? Deontay Foreman went off. I think Hubbard went off. I don't know why it's your man. It's your man. That's your man, son. I said it's your man. It's your man. You a Deontay Foreman guy. I remember you had him on your fantasy team. All right, now check it out. I want to take the 9.5 with Carolina, but I can't think how in the hell Carolina would keep this game that close.
I'll tell you where I'm starting to get a little concerned about this game, and I'm really pissed off about it for a few reasons. The Detroit Lions are dealing with insane amount of injuries. All of a sudden, Amon-Ra, who had 10 days to get healthy for this game, has a phantom injury nobody's heard about until 2 days ago with an abdomen. Aside from my fantasy team, I picked this guy to lead the league in catches, which if he misses a game, it's like all but done considering the position he's in. So I'm really pissed off at the moment that it's always something with this guy. But nevertheless, the Lions are starting to do it a little. Is banged up. Josh Reynolds is banged up. Jameson Williams, yeah, he's coming back, but we don't know what to expect from him. I'm starting to get cold feet a little bit about the Lions. Carolina is not good. I'm not going to claim that they're a team that I have. At the 9.5 mark here, Corey, I think this start. I'm not giving out an official play here yet. I need to see the official injury report heading into Sunday morning, but I still, despite tensions and my feelings, probably would lay it with Detroit.
Yeah, no, I'm
Spot,
sure.
and I think there are still enough playmakers for them to take care of business. Bryce Young and the offense did not have a particularly good Minnesota defense last week. So I think the Lions end up winning and covering Sunday. But them on upset alert, if they lost, this would be the favorite. If they lost, that wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I would agree with you on that one right there. All right, next up, let us go to Indianapolis, where the Jacksonville Jaguars, where the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts meet for their first meeting this season. Tennessee is a 2.5-point favorite in Indianapolis. Indianapolis was the favorite at the earlier part for the week. Looking at some splits over here, according to the DraftKings Sportsbook, we're seeing 50% even amount of tickets on both sides. The tickets are even. The money is on the Tennessee Titans. 70% of the money backing Tennessee on the road in this game. Tennessee has basically taken up land, Johnny V, in Indianapolis. This is a place they play very well at. And I'll take the Tennessee Titans to the window this week.
Corey, we talked about this yesterday. In addition to the Royal Mint and lay the big, you also take the small. And this is a spot where the Colts getting 2.5 at home, especially in division matchup. This is one where typically I would take the Colts. And, maybe it ends up mattering to the trend the way I talk about it, and maybe it doesn't. I think in this spot here, you mentioned the Tennessee Titans have really done well against the Colts throughout the years. And one of the reasons why is the guy that they call the king in the backfield. Out of the last 7 matchups between the Titans and Colts where Derrick Henry has played, he's run for at least 100 yards in 6 of them. I'm a big fan of what Indianapolis is doing with Anthony Richardson. I'm a huge fan of his, and I look forward to watching him for many years to come. Jonathan Taylor should be back. We don't know what we're going to see. At the end of the day, though, despite the fact that I don't like the Titans, they're just too Jekyll and Hyde. They're here one week, gone the next. I probably would lay the 2.5 with them. On my Circa pool, I think the number was 1.5. So I'm going to ride with the Titans on this one, Corey.
Yep, got a stale line over there at Circa, but that's good. You know what I'm saying? Looks like that money's going in the opposite direction. All right, New York Giants and Miami Dolphins. Later big. There's nothing about the way the New York Giants play, Johnny, that make you think you can walk to somebody's damn betting window with a ticket that says the New York Giants, unless you're completely contrarian.
Lay the big, baby. Lay the big. Miami Dolphins. I think one thing that makes me feel even better about laying it with Miami this week is the fact that they got their doors blown off in Buffalo a week ago. And they're hungry. They're ready to get back on track in the win column. They're at home in South Florida. Should be nice and humid. Giants coming in on a short week after getting their ass cheeks blown out themselves. Saquon Barkley, we don't even know. That's what happened. That's what happened. We don't even know if Saquon Barkley is going to play at this point. Every week we hear Brian Dable, Barkley be ready for next week, and then next week comes, he's a game time decision. Make up your mind, bro. Is he playing or is he not playing? I'm tired of hearing about this, bro. It doesn't really make a difference
if he's playing or not, Johnny.
It doesn't make a difference, but it doesn't make a difference. But in any case, it just gives me more of a reason to like Miami, especially if Barkley doesn't play or he's on a pitch count. I think Miami runs away with this one. I think the best bet here, Corey, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Miami typically is a great first half team, and the Giants are terrible in the first half. Like, they don't score. Go back. I think they may have scored like 3 to 6 points total this season in the first half. I would look at Miami in the first half as well. I think that's actually the best play. I would probably play Miami in the first half up to like 7.5, even 8. I think this will be 10 points by halftime, but I would also take Miami full game. I think I might throw 2 of them in the Circa pool this week.
Little bit of word to advice to everybody. The New Orleans Saints and the New England Patriots meet this weekend. up there in New England. The Patriots are a 1-point home favorite. This number is bounced back and forth every week. You can tease both sides of this game and hit, but the best bet as far as betting this against the spread don't have anything to do with this game.
Nothing. I want absolutely nothing to do. The New Orleans just looks lost, bro. They really do. New England, I probably would. They're a 1-point edge. I probably would give them the edge, but I just, what are we going to do with this game? Like it's horrible quarterback play, defenses that aren't what we expected. New Orleans defense, sure not the team that we thought that they could be. The Patriots defense is dealing with injuries. Key injuries with Matt Judon, Christian Gonzalez, the promising young rookie corner, out for the season. It's a complete pass for me. I want absolutely nothing to do with this.
Yep, I'm the same way on this one. Now, here we go. Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, AFC North, World War III. You already know, still to this day, probably one of the roughest, toughest rivalries in football. Lamar Jackson brings the Ravens in at 4.5-point favorites. I believe you already noticed the ATS stats about Mike Tomlin and his home building as an underdog. I believe 4-1, maybe 5-1 last 6 meetings with the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore wins the game. I take the 4.5 with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we talked about this again last night. I do not think that this game is going to be as bad as you would think, because just I'm tired of backing Kenny Pickett. It always seems to be like the Steelers were finding them in favorable spots on the line and in certain matchups. But at the end of the day, the last 16 times these teams have met since 2015, 10 of them have been decided by 4 points or less.
Yeah.
It's an absurd amount. I do think Baltimore wins this game. And when they win this game, they're going to take a stranglehold on the AFC North. But Pittsburgh is going to fight them tooth and nail, as they always have in the Tomlin versus Harbaugh era, which has spawned over 15 years. And I think Pittsburgh loses a close one, but they cover.
All right, let's get to these 4 p.m. Eastern time starts, and let's go to Arizona, where the Cardinals have been tougher than everybody thought. The Bengals are coming in looking like a dead duck. They are laying 3 on the road. Arizona cashing it at home. This is a spot right here where you feel like it almost feels like a must-win for Cincinnati. This is a game, Johnny, that will not make any of my tickets.
This sucks because it's exactly like the Texans-Falcons game. I want to take the Arizona Cardinals so bad. I think not only can they cover this, but they can win it outright. But this just seems like too much of a trendy dog aspect. And the Bengals have looked horrible, haven't they? Just nothing, no semblance of a competent NFL offense. A lot of that has to do with Joe Burrow's calf not being right. We don't know the status of T. Higgins. And I absolutely think Arizona can and might win this game outright. That's why I want to take them. But they're going to be a team that is going to be well bet this week. And it just seems like one of those spots where people are discounting the Cincinnati Bengals, even though the line has them as a field goal favorite on the road. I think I have to go with the Bengals here, laying the 3.
You take this to the window?
To the window, maybe a half unit. Maybe half unit, not full unit.
Respectable.
Not full unit.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Or hear me out. Arizona +3, Cincinnati money line. I won't do that, but that's
I can see that.
I think my point is I think the Bengals win this game, but the 3 points I could see Zona covering. I just think it's too much of a must win for Cincinnati because, dude, if they lose this game, their season's pretty much over.
Yep, it's toast. It does feel like a must win. All right. Philadelphia Eagles go to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. You see there's a couple 4s out there. Circa's at 4, DraftKings at 4, got 4.5 basically across the board everywhere else, though, right? Consensus probably about 4.5 with the Rams cashing it at home, right? I may have mentioned this last night, but I want to go through this again because more people probably want to watch this. Philadelphia Eagle fan, I know you're going to go out to Los Angeles this weekend and enjoy yourself. Don't go in them people building and start no fight. The LA fan will whip your ass. You think because you Philadelphia fan, you big and bad and tough, and you fight in your stadium, The LA fans fight in a stadium every weekend. So you go over there if you want to with that foolishness, and you get your head knocked off, and you got to come back to Philadelphia Monday morning with a knot on your head. With that being said, Johnny VTV, give me the Rams with 4.5.
I think I'm on the opposite side here. I'm probably going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. The reason being, I do like the Rams. I think this is a sneaky dog play at home here. Cooper Kupp should be back. We got Kupp Daddy. We don't know how.
Pause.
We don't know how much he's going to play. And I'm curious to see what he looks like with Puka on the field. I think they can both coexist as wide receiver ones in fantasy with the fact that Matthew Stafford likes to throw the rock 50 times a game in his yesteryear at the bare minimum. But I think the Eagles roster is too talented here. I just don't know if I think we're finally going to see the Eagles play close to their best game of football. We haven't seen it through the first month, and the Rams.
Why is it going to happen on the road versus the Rams who have overachieved so far this year?
Because the Rams roster is really not that good, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, yeah, you have Aaron Donald, but there's nobody that I'm really scared of on the other on any part of the defense there. Otherwise, I think Jalen Hurts is going to have his way. I think I can block. The wide receivers should have free releases all day against the second. You know, if the Eagles put up 30 points again, which I think is probably the Rams, I don't know if the offensive line is going to be able to stymie this pass rush of this Eagles team.
All right, and listen, I respect that opinion. I get behind you on that. I just think the Rams are going to play this game close to the vest. I think they'll be in it to the end. I think Philadelphia escaped last week. There was a couple bad calls in that game. Mm-hmm. I think Philadelphia is fat and happy right now. I think the Los Angeles Rams bring them down to earth. New York Jets, Denver Broncos. You know I'm not touching this one, Johnny V, or you.
I might flirt with the Jets in Circa Million on the road, 2.5. I don't want to drink the Zach Wilson Kool-Aid right now. I might give him the benefit of the doubt. Breece Hall, I mean, hopefully Robert Saleh chains off and let the dog run wild. I hope that's the case because Breece Hall is a difference maker. Jets defense is a significant advantage over Denver's defense. And, you know, I know Russell Wilson has looked 2 weeks, but I think New York's defense can slow down the Broncos all up some points lately. And, you know, I just don't know if I see the Denver defense, the way their offense, if Zach Wilson looks anything like he did last week.
Johnny, according to VSiN splits, the New York Jets are taking 72% of the money. And the tickets. That's a trendy underdog.
Trendy dog, though? Is everybody actually taking them?
Maybe just the people. You're right. Just because the tickets say that doesn't. It could just be those people, which probably is the least bet game of the week. So that makes sense right there because
I can't imagine the Jets game, being right? A trendy dog. You know what I mean? I
get that.
I think
that's what the tickets say, but it could be a low amount of tickets as well. So I understand what you're saying there. I would look at some late Sunday line movement, but I have nothing to do with that game. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings. This one was at 4.5. Now it's down to 3.5 across the board. You got Minnesota home getting 3.5, painted across the board right now. The Chiefs laying it on the road. This number's going in the wrong direction, Johnny, but I feel like I would lay it with the Chiefs.
I think somebody put a 6-figure bet in on the Vikings. That's why there was a full point drop down.
Got it.
I'll be honest, dude. I think I might go with the Vikings. I'm not 100% sure yet, but Minnesota at home, yeah, they did not play a good game against Carolina last week. They were lucky to escape with a win. But you know what, dude? The Chiefs haven't looked good at all this year. Look at their wins. They've been bad. Like they got lucky. The refs gave them that game on Sunday night because Taylor Swift was in attendance. Let's call it what it is. They really did nothing against the Lions in week 1. They put up only 17 points in Jacksonville the week before. I just haven't seen anything from Kansas City that really gives me the feeling that they're a team that we should be betting at the moment. And 3.5 is enticing. It really is. But the line movement's in the wrong direction. I feel like Minnesota is a solid play this week. A lot of people are going to be betting the Chiefs. And I'm going to tell you, I think the 52.5 looks a little low here, Core.
All right.
I think the Vikings definitely look like a good teaser, like taking them out to 9.5. I don't think Kansas City secondary is going to have an answer for Justin Jefferson. This guy literally is like one of the Monstars. He is from a different universe. Nothing an opposing defense can do takes Jefferson out of the equation. The Carolina Panthers secondary did the best job of anybody this year by taking Jefferson away. 6 for 85 and 2 tuds. And by the way, it should have been 3 scores. A ridiculous penalty on the first drive took a touchdown away. So I think Jefferson's going to help Minnesota at least stay inside a field goal for this one, but definitely look good for the teaser leg at 9.5.
All right, Johnny, I am going to lay out on this one because obviously I am not going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show, I guess, a little bit of bias by taking the Cowboys getting 3.5, right? So you have to do the handicapping on this one because I'm taking 3.5 with Dallas.
Can you do me a favor? Because I'm trying to debate this with my dad. What is the splits on the tickets and the handle for this game?
I can pull that up for you right now, Johnny V.
At least for that's VSiN, right? That's DraftKings.
Yeah, this would be the DraftKings splits. Now, here's the thing, like you got to take these splits with a grain of salt because I've always been told nobody's really going to give you their back end. But if you look down here, this is heavy betting on the San Francisco 49ers. This would actually indicate a line freeze right here, to be honest with you. 70% of the money and the tickets on one side and no line movement, that would indicate a line freeze.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like. And again, it doesn't always mean something, but at the end of the day, the Niners are a team that I liked from the start this week because it's not just the past success that they've had against Dallas. The 49ers are playing a different game right now than everybody else in the NFL. Right now, in my opinion, is a bona fide MVP frontrunner. He's going to be in serious contention to win this award, the first running back to do so since 8. The Dallas offense does not look good. They haven't put together a truly good game plan or execution once this year. If we're being straight up, it's the Dallas defense that has been scoring touchdowns, giving short fields, and San Francisco doesn't really
Johnny,
turn the
what
ball
I would
over.
say about you about what I would say about Dallas scoring touchdowns with defense and getting short fields, that's not an accident. That's how they play.
I agree, but they haven't played anything close to what the 49ers put out on the field. And, the playoff game last year, that was probably a semblance of the competition between these two teams, that they're much closer than what we saw maybe the year before when the game was in Dallas and Dak Prescott with the failed spike on third down, whatever it was. But at the end of the day, dude, I think San Francisco wins this game. I think they cover. I feel like they win by a touchdown. 49ers, bro, they just got a bunch of yak daddies on this team. Yards after the catch nonstop. I just don't think that the secondary of Dallas is going to be able to contend with these guys, especially without Trayvon Diggs being out there. Stephon Gilmore, he's a solid cover corner at this stage of his career, but he's not a guy that's going to be able to keep up with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. And then what happens when Christian McCaffrey gets out of the backfield? Leighton Van Der Esch doesn't have the wheels to keep up with this guy. If Dallas is going to pull this off and stop San Francisco's offense, Micah Parsons is going to have the game of his life. And, we know he's capable of it. I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough. I feel like San Francisco at home, under the lights, they're playing a different game. Like I said, I feel like they win by a touchdown. But I do think it's a close game. I feel like San Francisco scores a late touchdown, and Dallas has the ball with the last possession. Nick Bosa comes up with a big stop to put the kibosh on Dallas's comeback.
And we'll see how that one plays out right there. All right, so that was it, everybody. Good luck this weekend. Make sure to please gamble responsibly. You know what I'm saying? Bet with your head, not above your head. For my man JVTV, is Corey Parson. We are out. Good luck, homies.